Okay. Um,
Can I, you can't, I don't think I can. Yeah, you're not.
no, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with you. If what happened happened, I am so sorry
That's okay.
because what
Okay.
I pressed, I think that this conversation with Jennifer was obviously meant for me to have with her by myself.
I know.
But I want to
I told
circle
you
around.
from the beginning, right? And
I
maybe it was, Danny.
it
Maybe it
it
was.
because I was on my computer and there was no room for me to record. Then I came. My wife
I
came and
almost
rescued
recorded
me.
it on my phone. I wish I had. Now I could send it to you, but
My
that's
wife
okay.
my wife rescued me and brought me to her computer and we set up. And then I just looked and I thought, okay, how long have we been recording? And I saw the recording wasn't even on. So now we're recording again. Um,
Yeah. So yeah. So just back to that, I think that leaders should be able to stand up and say, I'm thinking differently about this. Be teachable, and but we as a population, I think, have to be open to hearing that from leaders
yeah.
and embrace that because I think they that that they're not given permission to make mistakes, or to change. You know what? You're right. I haven't been listening, whether it's America or Texans or California. I haven't been listening and listening with some, I'm consulting with people. I'm asking people. I just don't think that politically leadership does that enough. And I don't think that we necessarily have a culture where that's okay to do,
Well, it
you know.
seems like we pedestal people and we want to put them on the pedestal, and then we don't want anything to be wrong with them until we are ready to tear them down from the pedestal and show everything that's been wrong with them, that we haven't even given them a chance to be who they are because of our own desire for them to be somebody different. So we seem to have an inherent need to make our leaders be more than they are. And perhaps that's why our leaders don't stand up and be vulnerable and be open. Um, I don't know where to go with this because I have so much content we missed on this.
Oh, I know. But we had it, and that's so wonderful for me. We'll do it again. We'll do another one.
Will you promise that I can set up another time for you and I can actually have it record?
Of course, it'll maybe go somewhere else,
I,
but
I love what happened. Let me just in this short say maybe this will be a teaser for the conversation we'll have that I'll put up there. Um, do you think people are more different than they are alike, or more alike than they are different?
more like,
So why do you think people who are more alike with each other? Because one of the things that I found in the research that I'm doing in these conversations is that probably 95% of the people have answered we're more alike than we are different. And again, it may be from the population that is responding to me, and I want to expand the population out to see if that works. Um, but I find it really interesting that a lot of people who feel that they don't fit into the world and feel that they're a little bit different, and that feel that we're more alike than we are different, would try and fit people into boxes of being the same when we don't feel the same ourselves. Any thoughts on that?
well, I guess I'm not sure if I know how to answer that, but I think that, when I say I think we're more alike, I think it's, in terms of people having insecurities, in terms of people having preconceived notions, passing judgment. I think that, or that we lay in bed at night and our minds are busy and we have fear. And I think fear and lack of trust are, those things that keep us from knowing how much we are all alike,
Yeah.
you know. So, but I think at the root of it, we all need kind of the same things,
Yeah.
We need to be nourished, we need to be loved, we need to be heard, we need to be embraced. We need to be appreciated and valued. You know, I think one of the best things, this is probably off the topic, I remember, you know, all the gadabout estheticians. We were in this van and we were driving with Pam to go to some education, I'm sure, always education. And we started talking about her as a mother and her daughter Jana, and trying to put a word on the quality it was, why it worked, why they were the people they were, and mother daughter the way they were. And what came out of it, I don't even know who identified it, was because Pam validates her feelings as a child growing up, and that has stayed with me because I think it translates into everything that is important to me. My
Yeah.
relationship with Leah from the very beginning, that was a real roadblock in my marriage for them to understand. You have to validate their feelings. You can't be like, oh, that's stupid. Or, you know, the more allowing those experiences to happen. Same thing in my school, or, you know, same thing if you have an angry guest or somebody. It's like the first thing to solving that, right, is validating
Yeah.
somebody's feelings. And I see that work effectively in any encounter, positive or conflict. So, you know, I guess that's that place again where I see that we're all alike is validation, you know. And it's amazing what you get back
Yeah.
when you're doing that in your relationships or with people. You know, I mean, there's times I'm sitting with students and I'm like, oh, I just don't get you at all. I just want to pop you in the head. But the more you listen and try to validate and say, okay, I understand why you're having that experience, and try to get, but you start to get a response, and then suddenly somebody who is rubbing you the wrong way, you're starting to have more intimacy with and understanding. And so I don't
I
know, I
love
think,
I love that. Go, I'm sorry, continue.
yeah, that's it.
I love that because in my life, you know, I've mixed with a lot of different types of people. And it doesn't matter what color their skin, it doesn't matter what religion they practice, what border they live behind, how educated or uneducated, what the size of their house or their condition of their cardboard box. Every single one of them, when I've asked them what's important to them, have said one of the three things, if not all of these three things. They want to be loved and accepted, they want to be listened to and heard, and they want to be acknowledged and validated. In my 65 years on being on this planet, no one has ever said to me, Danny, it's important that you agree with me. They understand that I have the points of views that I have. And if they feel loved and accepted and acknowledged and validated and listened to and heard, they give me the respect to have my own beliefs because I've given them the respect to have their own beliefs. And there's something so precious in that simple thing. And it's one of the things that I realized that I could actually do. I don't need a college degree. I don't need to have ordinations that I have. I don't need to have graduated coaching schools, practices that I have. None of that's important. What's important is that I just care enough about another human being to give them the space and to tell them that I love and accept them. I'm going to listen to them and hear them. And I'm going to acknowledge what they say and validate that that's what they say. Now, part of my trip that I was planning to do, which we referenced in the part of the that may not be recorded, was that I don't know that I'll have that same courage to do that amongst white supremacists in a gathering room where they are angry. I don't know that I'll have the same courage to do that in people that are beating people up. I don't know that I'll have the courage to do that in a room of people that are really upset about the way they've been treated and don't feel listened to. But I keep going back to my daughter. Speak, yell, tantrum, attack. And the more that I can listen, the more that I can hold that space, I only hope and pray. And that's my trip for me was exactly that, a trip for me to see, am I able to sit in a space where people are mad at me and just say to me, please tell me more, instead of defending myself and rationalizing myself. In my book, The Mosaic.
Well, and I think that serves you because as you were talking about that, I thought, you know, the other side of validation or where it can't happen is when you're in a conversation with somebody who insists on being right. Right.
Yeah.
And so if they're going to insist on being right and you're validating that, the good thing is you can bring somebody down.
Yes.
Um, you know, but if two people, and that's probably goes back to what we're talking about politically with political leaders, right? Them having permission to be vulnerable, or don't be so committed to being right. Everybody up there wants to be right,
Yeah.
and nobody's listening.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be extraordinary to hear just one side or the other say one simple validating thing? Like that should be an assignment.
Yes.
All those sides should have to at least once a week say something to validate the other side. One thing. You can say 1,000 horrible things, say one.
I
And if
love
they
that.
did that, they'd probably find more of them. That sounds scary to me, like when you said sitting in a room full of white supremacists, because maybe that goes a little bit back to you saying, is it important to be heard right now or to listen? I don't know, you wouldn't be heard in that setting, maybe until you had an opportunity to validate, but how do you find anything to validate in that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But what I can
Maybe,
do,
I don't know.
I can validate that that's what they believe. I don't have to validate them in a world, in my own belief system. But I can say, look, with my daughter, what I saw is if she felt heard, she wouldn't need to scream. If she felt heard, she didn't need to tantrum. And if she felt heard, she certainly didn't need to attack. So when I retrofit that back into the world and I look at the world that we're
Right.
living in, I don't think people feel heard. And so if I can go to there, the trash man in my book, The Mosaic, this is really beautiful. Our trash man comes every Monday morning. Every Sunday night, we put out everything from our house that no longer serves us. We put all our trash in the trash bins. And he comes every Monday and he takes those. I used to sit at 4 years old. I used to sit on the back lawn and watch the trash man come. And my mother said to me, Danny, you have a genius IQ. You can't be sitting here watching the trash man and dream of being a trash man. But to this day, I realized I'm a trash man. Because
And that's awesome. But I have to tell you, my favorite sound when I was little was I used to love to be out when the garbage truck came to
yeah,
listen to that.
to
I
the,
love the sound of it.
I loved it too. And so what I realized is I could sit and just take people's trash. And I used to take it inside of me, but it hurt me too much. So now I just have a trash can like they have. And I can sit with people and I can say to them, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it. That's why I wanted to go out on the road and see. I can say to them, tell me what pains you, tell me what aches you, tell me what troubles you, and pour it all into this trash can. And when they say to me, Danny, you're the one, people like you who believe like you believe are the ones that make, that's why we feel this way. Instead of defending myself or rationalizing, I just say to them, please tell me more. And the compassionate part of that practice is that if I can allow them to put everything that troubles them and pains them from inside them, even for a couple of seconds, into this trash can, and I can allow them the space to see themselves without all that they're carrying, what happens is they get a chance to see a different person. Because all that hatred, all that pain, all that suffering, all that venom is outside of them for a second. They can have it back. I'm not going to put it in the truck unless they tell me to put it in the truck. It's theirs. They can do with it whatever they want. But they also don't have to take it back. And I'm amazed at how often people say, "Ooh, God, I don't want that back. Put it in the truck." And just grind it up and take it. And my favorite sound, my favorite action, because the trash man allowed me to come on the truck one time at 5 years old. He let me come on the truck and he said, okay, just pull this lever. It's going to grind it all up. And I did. And I was like in ecstasy. So I love that process. Okay.
I love it. I have a lot more understanding now too of what that journey was about, because that's really brave. It's really brave for you to do that.
I don't know that I can, but I want to. One of my friends told me the only way to go on this journey is if you realize that everybody you meet is going to be you speaking to you about you. And when you can see the world that way, you'll see an interesting world that you never saw before. This isn't about white supremacists talking about their hatred. This is about you seeing this hatred that you have somewhere buried inside you that you're scared to look at. And it may not be a racist hatred. It may be other hatred. I don't know what it is. It isn't talking to a feminist about the right for a woman to be a woman. It's that you understand that what women's rights are really about and who a woman is for you. Because I grew up in a culture where I was taught things that inherently that I didn't even that I can't stand today. But it wasn't wrong then, or it was just the way we were taught. And how many inherent belief systems are in me that I just carry along with me without even realizing that I carry along.
Well,
Okay.
and I think when you can sit with someone, because I have this experience with my mother, you know, someone who has such different beliefs, such different reaction and conversation. And, you know, I've gotten to where I don't have to change her opinion.
Yeah.
I can listen, I can love her and not have any commitment to change her. And it's made the listening and the love better, you know. And so I think at any time, if I, you know, it's learning not to say, because I would hear myself doing it. And it's my mother and me actually too, that advisor where, well, this is what I think you should do, should do, should do.
Yeah.
And really, you know, putting a lock on that to say what you could do. And, you know, that practice, when I hear myself starting to say should, that's usually my, when I was talking earlier about practicing listening, as soon as I hear it, if I hear it, it's my wake up call to dial it back, provide support, and then just listen. Because if I'm doing a lot of should, I'm not listening.
Right. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Let me ask you a couple questions, and you've been so generous with your time. I just want to ask a couple more things. Do you think that not only people speak to us, but the world around us speaks to us? Do you think our jobs speak to us? Do you think our bodies speak to us? Do you think the environment is speaking to us?
Yes. I think everything is energy.
Fabulous. So what do you think the message of the world is today with all the stuff that's going on? What do you think it's trying to say to us?
Slow down. We have too much, we are too much, we consume too much, we need too much. Slow down. And that's how I felt, especially at first. You know, in the beginning, I'd say in my head, I think it's just like, you know, when you break a leg or something happens at the height of something, people are like, that's a sign you need to slow down. Well, I think it was a sign that we need to slow down, we need to reevaluate and listen to each other.
I love that. I love
and
that.
Listen to the outside. I mean, I you know, I love listening to the woods behind my house and the birds. And my mom thinks it's from outer space, though.
Yeah. Okay. This is the final question. You have 1 minute. With all that you've said to the world around you, and all that you've said today, and all that we lost in this conversation that we have to recapture, and all that we still have in the conversation, which is brilliant. What's one thing that you would like to say to this world that you would like it to just know, that you would like it to feel, and you would like it to see, that might even relieve some of its suffering, but doesn't even have to relieve its suffering? What's just one thing you'd like to say?
Mm-hmm. Am I allowed to curse on this?
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
Wear a fucking mask. I'm sorry, you can delete that if you want.
I won't delete it.
I want to say it every day when I see people. And anyway, I don't know, but obviously that's not very profound. That's just in the moment. You know.
But that's good. If that's what you want to say, that's good.
That's what I want to say.
I love it. I love it. Jennifer, I miss you.
I miss you too. This has been so wonderful.
Whatever we caught or didn't catch on this, I can't believe it, but we had it's sort of symbolic of what it's been like for us. We tried to start it, then there wasn't room on my computer. Then my wife saved us and brought us over here. Then it didn't record. But at the heart of it all, it's just so much love that I have for you and so much respect that I have for what you're doing and what you bring into this world. And I just want to thank you for taking time to sit with us here and share something that you didn't even know you would have enough to say when we first sat down and talked. And I just wanted, I wish for you that this whole thing was recorded so you could hear how much you have to say and how important what you have to say is, and how you would know that from the core of your heart, because you are one of those people that has always inspired me and led me, and I feel blessed to know. And I thank you for that.
Right back at you.
Thank you
I feel
so
the
much.
very same. I love you so much. And very interesting how this went today.
Yeah,
Very
very interesting.
so,
And for those of you who are listening, who listen to the show, I'm going to publish whatever part of this we have. I'm going to hope that I can lean on Jennifer to find some more time out of her busy course of her day.
I'd love
to redo this so that you'll have a little version of it here, because a lot of what we said didn't come on. And I'm going to ask the gods of the internet to protect us and give us the full conversation together to share with you. But thank you, all of you, for listening. I think even in the portion that we did get, there is some beautiful things here for all of us to hear. And I want to thank you for being here. If you know people that are longing to have a conversation,
I've
please,
already sent so many people.
thank you. And please invite them. Listeners, you can invite them too. The more conversations we have, the more ability we have to just sit with another person and just listen. I believe our world will change. I believe a lot of the reasons why the message of my daughter is so powerful to me is because when
I love it. I really understand it all better now, hearing that story and then what you just shared about who you're going to be talking to. I'm like, I get it now. It all
it's somehow
really powerful. I even want to reflect on it some more and talk about when we talk again. I think, yeah,
I would love
great.
that.
You're an amazing human being, and you and your beautiful wife and your love for each other is really nice too to see.
Mirror all of that back to you and your daughter and your dad and you. Just I love you from the core of my heart. So thank you again so much for being here. People who've come, thank you so much. Jennifer, if people want to get in touch with you, I don't even know if you do it. I don't even know if you have the capacity with all that you're doing.
No, I love it.
How would they do that?
Probably Facebook Messenger. It's Jennifer Haack. Facebook Messenger would be I'm getting much better about all that. And,
okay.
So
will you send me a link to your Facebook page, and will you also send me a headshot so I can use it for the cover of whatever this becomes? Part one, part two of part -1 of what this is.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, thank you. Thank you all for coming. What a blessed opportunity to sit with someone who is not a stranger. And so don't only have conversations like, let these talks inspire you to sit down and talk with people. And not only to talk with strangers, but talk to people that you haven't talked to in a long time. There's no reason in the world that Jennifer and I haven't talked for this amount of time. I love talking to her. I love her. I love being with her. And I love that I can introduce you to her and you can feel her. And there's no stranger thing in the whole world than meeting a stranger and feeling like they're a friend. So if you feel drawn to talk with her, please reach out.
Anytime.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Soon. I don't want to wait too long. We'll have to.
We'll catch up again too. I'll send you the link and we'll do it again soon.
Okay.
Okay. Big love.